Hello, welcome to Not a Lawyer podcast. There are a few things that I want to address today. First, let's talk about some of the negative comments that have been showing up on this channel. If you're a net negative, don't be that person. To those hiding behind anonymous profiles and default pictures of nothing, of just a simple letter or a flower, will wake up and smell the roses. These accounts have no real presence. If your contribution here is simply to attack people from behind a screen, then this message is for you. If you're net negative, this message is for you. I know exactly who I am, and I know the value that I bring to this community. So I reject that idea that my voice or the work that I'm putting in here, advocating for victims justice, and for those that don't have a platform, I reject that idea that it has no purpose. I absolutely reject that, and I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. This channel was built on researching facts, asking difficult questions, and giving a voice to stories that deserve to be heard. So that mission isn't changing just because a handful of little trolls, internet trolls, don't like it, because you don't like my content. Now, let me be clear. I welcome respectful disagreements, healthy debates. It's part of the process. And I'm always willing to engage with people who bring facts, thoughtful perspectives, and a genuine discussion to the table. But personal attacks, name calling, and attempts to discredit me and my work without any substance, those conversations end before they begin. It ends there and it stops there. If you believe you have something meaningful to add, then bring evidence, bring research, and bring facts. Put in the work. Level up. That's the standard of this channel. Otherwise, you're simply a net negative, spreading negativity. And you'll be talking to yourself. You'll be talking to the fucking wall. Because I won't be giving you any energy on this platform. I won't. This community deserves better. And that's exactly what I'm going to continue delivering. Now that that's out of the way, let's continue on to our regular scheduled program here. We're here for Nolan Wells. We're here for Celeste Rivas Hernandez. We're here for Carmelo Anthony. We're here for the Idaho 4. We're here for Tamla Horsford. We're here for all the victims and voices. And we are bringing these stories to life. And if you don't like this content, you can simply continue scrolling or move on to the next channel. But I will not accept that on my channel. Now, again, so this is, we're going to continue on researching and digging for facts. Clip that. This is for StreamYard. Clip that. Okay, so we are going to continue on researching facts, digging for facts and answers for Nolan Wells and his family. Okay? Um, Today's episode is on Warren's interview with Brandon Tatum. Now, I did my research on Tatum, and the reason why is because I thought it was quite interesting that out of all of the media outlets in this entire country, I feel that it's super interesting to me that Mr. Warren here decides to be interviewed by Brandon Tatum. So I said, Warren, Warren he was unwilling to speak to the Nolans, to Nolan's parents, to the Wells family, to Christine Wansley. They were unwilling to come forward with information on Nolan. But here we are on Mr. Tatum's channel, bringing your side of the story, your narrative, right? Yes. So I said, who the hell is Tatum then? Who is this Tatum person? So I did some research. Brandon Tatum is a former police officer for Tucson, Arizona. He later became a conservative media personality. He runs a popular YouTube channel and podcast and appears frequently on conservative media. He comments on policing, politics, race, and current events. So I said, okay, why I am seeing a lot of Black channels, Black creators, Black people out there discussing Tatum in a bad light. So I was interested to know why. So essentially, his disagreements are about his ideology. Critics basically say that his rhetoric minimizes systemic racism. He often aligns against causes supported by many Black activists. Supporters say he offers an alternative perspective within the Black community and challenges ideas that they believe are harmful. He is a prominent conservative commentator whose positions on race and policing have made him a polarizing figure, with supporters praising his emphasis on personal responsibilities and critics accusing him of undermining efforts to address racial inequality. He's basically the dude that criticizes Black Lives Matter. He often criticizes Black Lives Matter, arguing that the organization spreads misinformation about policing and race. This is what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with an individual who criticizes the Black Lives Matter movement and minimizes the systemic racism in this country, as if Black history never happened, as if Black history happened 100 years ago. No, it's alive and kicking, baby. It's alive and kicking. Okay? He frequently emphasizes individual responsibility, crime reduction, and support for law enforcement over explanations centered on systemic racism. He has defended police officers in many controversial use of force cases. I remember one, the Massey case. Susan Massey? Wait, let me look for her. I want to give her the proper, is it Susan Massey? Sonia Massey. Sonia Massey. Oh, he had a lot to say about that. I do recall that. Rest in peace, Sonia Massey. He has defended police officers in many controversial use of force cases where others believed the officers acted improperly. He has criticized Black prominent activists, politicians, and commentators, leading some to argue that he undermines causes that are important to many Black Americans. This is what we're dealing with here. Okay? So we need to be wary of the information that we are receiving and from whom we are receiving it from. Do you guys understand? So I thought it was very interesting that Nolan's best friend, as he claims, best friend, he's his brother, he says. Nolan was like a brother. I thought it was quite interesting that he was unwilling to speak to the Nolans, to the Welleses, Nolan's parents. But here we are. Good old Officer Tatum. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. We're going to get started. We have a lot to cover. I'm not even sure I'll be able to get to D4VD today, although I have him listed on my title, and it's day 3 of the preliminary hearing. But I've just been doing much research on this case here. Let's get started with this interview and decipher and try to search for facts and answers as to what happened to Nolan Wells. Amen. In other words, hello, personally speaking. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing out here in these streets. It's what I'm hearing out here in these streets, and it's important to know who we're getting this information from and why. Literally, why? Why is Mr. Warren running to Mr. Tatum out of all of the media outlets in the world? He chose Mr. Tatum. I find that quite interesting. So we're going to play this here, and let's get started. This is part 2 of Warren's interview. I have notes all over the place about this, but we'll take it from there. If you guys have watched this, that's great. If you haven't, I'm glad you're here watching this with me. It's 13 minutes long. There's a part 2 and a part 3. I will make sure to copy this link into the description box, so you guys, if you want to watch it without any commentary, you can go ahead and watch it. I'll try not to pause it as, I'll try not to pause it as much, only when necessary. So here we go.
Waist deep in water, and all my friends are. Everybody's leaving their phone on the boat. I open the back hatch, and there's water up to the batteries. And that is obviously not good. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl that he was with, and the girl is a witness to that too.
Yeah, we're in Mississippi right now. We're getting ready to recount the exact path.
Okay, before we get started, I know. I'm going to try not to pause, but I want you guys to understand something. This is all happening on July 20th when Nolan's mom and dad are putting Nolan to rest, are having a celebration and a funeral for Nolan. I want you to understand that his best friend and so-called brother was not present. They're here. His best friend is having an interview with Tatum here, Brandon Tatum. I just see that as the most disrespectful thing I have witnessed. Not only you see no emotion on this guy, zero emotion on Warren, and I have a problem with that. In the Idaho 4, it's like a pattern with these kids. There's no emotion. I think that's a problem.
That the boys took, also with Nolan Wells, from where they docked the boat at, all the way out to Horn Island and back. The boys are going to explain to me exactly what went on, how many people were there, how many boats were taken out, which I think the world is going to be completely dumbfounded when they realize what the truth really is, because the lies have been pervasive.
So he's blatantly coming out here and saying that he knows the truth. So he already has a notion. This is an open investigation, may I add. This is an open investigation, and this guy already has a notion that these boys are innocent. Where have we heard that before? Idaho 4, peeps? You here with me? It's the same script. These boys are innocent, and they have yet to be investigated and interrogated. What world is this? We want justice for Nolan. We want justice for Nolan. We don't want any favoritism, and we don't want any sides. In fact, he talks about being unbiased, but his reporting is already biased. He has already said these kids are innocent. The kids have yet to be interrogated again. They have yet to be interrogated and investigated. And he already has the notion that they're innocent. I have a problem with that too.
So we're right here where Nolan left on the boat, and you'll find out how many people were there, how many boats, and then we're going to take that same path out. I'm going to go look at Horn Island and see exactly where they could have been, to get a perspective that the media don't even care to try to do. And then we're going to take the trek back, and we're going to find out exactly what happened to Nolan. This is the reason why I'm here, man. I want you guys to have a voice. I want you guys to be able to speak out and show what the truth really is, and then let the world decide. I just don't want you guys to end up in a situation where your story never gets heard. Right here is where Nolan...
He keeps saying the word truth. Notice he keeps throwing out the word truth there. Truth, truth, truth. You can't lie behind Jesus as Lord forever. You can't. You can't. You can't hide behind Jesus. No one can. And only Jesus is the way and the truth. He keeps throwing out truth out there. That's crazy to me. That's crazy talk to me.
And probably 20 other kids is where Nolan and probably 20 other kids got on the boat. So it's not just Nolan and three other kids. That was a lie. That was a myth. I'm going to prove that. Right here is where the kids were docking, and we're going to show you a video that coincided. I'm going to walk at the exact angle that the video is being broadcast from, so you know that I'm exactly where I say I am. But the boys were here. Tons of people you'll see on the video is getting onto the boat, and they took three.
Okay, so you see here this that he's showing us. Look at this. This was July 4th at 9:53 a.m. Where's the rest of this? We need this footage. We need 24 hours of this. No, in fact, more. We need from 7:3 to 7:6. All of it. Where is this? How is this officer? I'm sorry, he's not even an officer. He was, he's not. He's an ex-cop. But he calls himself officer. Sure. Why? Why do you think that? For respect. He wants to call himself an officer for respect, but he's not a cop. Let's start there. Second, we need all of this. And how does he have a hold of this and law enforcement has yet to receive this? From what, as far as I'm concerned, law enforcement hasn't seen this. Have they? I don't know. But right here you see 3 boats and you see people walking. And you see this kid here with the blue shorts that people keep saying, oh, the kid with the blue shorts is Nolan. That's not Nolan. That's a white kid. It's not Nolan. Go to my community post. You'll see. Everyone, TMZ, everyone's out here claiming that's Nolan. How irresponsible and careless was my post about TMZ? Immediately injecting themselves into this case with false allegations. It's a huge media company. It's huge. But no, they're wanting to create a narrative. For what? It's public opinion. So that it can influence public opinion. That's what media is. Do you guys know that? That's what media is. It's to influence public opinion. Media was created to influence public opinion. So what TMZ is doing is awful. They did it with Celeste Riva's case. Fuck that shit up too. They did it with the Nancy Guthrie case. Fuck that up too. Always inserting themselves to muddy the waters, just as this so-called officer is doing here. Exactly what they're doing here. Your volume for your voice donor is very low. Video sound is good. Yeah, okay. Thank you for letting me know. Oh no. Okay. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. You're right. You're right. I see the levels very low. I wonder why that is. Huh. Thank you for letting me know. Hello, hello. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Yes, I don't know what that is. Huh. Damn it. Testing, testing. Hello, hello, testing. Low. Oh boy, that's not good. Let me try something else. 1 second. Thanks for letting me know, Amy. Mic check. A little better, yeah? You think so? Mic check, yeah? Are we good? Are we good? Oh, that stinks because I did a whole speech at the beginning of this. Hello, mic check, mic check. Oh my God. Mic check, mic check. Hello, hello. Lucy, how's it sounding now? Amy, what do you think? Amy, are you still here? Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me well, or is it super low still? If it's low, I'm gonna have to end this and start all over. Let's play this for now while I get that
Boats
situated.
out. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just Nolan and 4 boys. It was a multitude of people on several different boats. And some of the boys that they're accusing wasn't even on the boat that Nolan was on. But let me show you from the vantage point where I have the video to prove that I'm here where I say I am. And so right now, here's the angle that you're going to see on the footage. It's just from probably that boat to, maybe about 30, 40 feet here to the right. And this is where the video is showing how many people were actually out there, actually getting on the boats. So therefore, it debunks very clearly that it was only Nolan and 4 boys going out here to Horn Island.
Sorry to break it to you, but if you bought the natural healing hand
I feel like I'm being sabotaged. I can't believe this. Fuck, man.
All right, you guys, sorry about the sunglasses. It's very bright out here, and I never wear sunglasses, but we're at Horn Island in almost the exact same position where the boys were, where Nolan was. So if you look out right here, just so you guys can get a perspective, you have the Horn Island here. But I want you guys to put this in your mind, what this was like on that day. You have boats 2, 3, 4 deep from way down there where you can see all the way through here. You have thousands of people on this island, probably 2,000 people. So this wasn't some abandoned, secluded island where nobody's at. Obviously, this is a Monday, and there's a few people on the backside of the island, not a lot of people here. But on 4th of July, this is a celebration. And so this wasn't a small place where 4 boys took their black friend and dropped him off and never seen him again. This place was flooded with people. Tons of people, multiple boats, multiple friend groups. I mean, everybody's here having a good time. And then the boat gets towed out because it was getting ready to sink. And so, and for what I was told, they told Nolan, get on the boat, man, get on the boat, get on the freaking boat. And he decided, because he's an adult, that he was gonna stay behind. And all the boys that they've been accusing, and they saying it had something to do with his death, they were all gone at 4:30. They were all gone. And they told Nolan to get on the boat, he didn't. And then there was a report of somebody seeing Nolan around 6:30-ish. And so for them to come out and claim these lies, won't take the time to come to Horn Island, won't take the trip out here to figure out what happened, won't talk to anybody, pushing an agenda is wrong. And that's the reason why I came out here. I wanted to see for myself, what did this look like? What could have happened? You know, does the stories line up based on what I've seen and what I've heard from people that live here that were involved in this situation? This is where the lie started. People were putting out on social media, knowing that they're lying, that this is what it was like on a day that Nolan and his friends came out here to Horn Island. And if it was 4 or 5 people and they came out here and Nolan was with them and maybe it was a few people out here like it is today, and Nolan came up missing, then maybe it would be suspicious. But they didn't take the time to give context to the people because they're evil and they're liars. So if it was like that right now, when the situation happened, I can see how people had a concern. But you got to replay this moment.
He's blatantly
without
calling people. He's calling people evil and liars for wanting answers as to what happened to Nolan. Does that make any sense to anyone? Because it's not making sense to me. I'm really upset that my mic is not working properly. I see the sound levels. I see it low. Edit mic settings. Oh, this really sucks, man. I had a long show planned, and I want my audio to be perfect, honestly. How do I sound? Do I still sound low? Amy, let me know, please, if you're still here. I'm so sorry.
thousands of people here. If anything would have happened directly involving Nolan and his friends, you can't tell me that thousands of people wouldn't have seen anything happen. And so that's pretty much why I want to come here and show you guys. This is what they want you to believe it was like on that day, which is a lie. They want you to believe they came to a secluded island, just 4 of them, and then Nolan is left behind, and then his body's washed up on shore, and nobody knows what happened. Nobody could have seen what happened but the boys. It's a flat out lie. Is there anything that you want to say, you want people to know about this whole experience?
Yeah, I mean, from someone, if someone's not from here, it's kind of hard to understand, you know, where the island drops off and how the island works. But, you know, there's plenty of people out here, especially on the 4th of July, you know, this is where people come out.
Basically, the narrative that is being spun right now is that Nolan drowned. That's what the narrative they're creating, is that Nolan drowned. So they brought Tatum out here so that Tatum can see how it's possible that Nolan could have drowned, in my opinion.
To celebrate. And I mean, if you film the water, you could see right here, Brandon, where it drops off. I mean, you could see literally where it drops off. So, I mean, it goes from about waist deep water right there to neck deep. And then it drops from neck deep all the way to like 17, 20 foot. I mean, we weren't even a quarter mile out the island and when we were leaving, and I mean, it was 30 foot of water.
Yeah.
But
he said they were in the quarter, when they were leaving, they were on the corner of the island. He said right when they were leaving, the water was, he gives, hold on.
To neck deep, and then it drops from neck deep all the way to like 17, 20 foot. I mean, We weren't even a quarter mile out the island, and when we were
They were a quarter mile out of the island. I wonder if that's when the distress call was made. He said they were within a quarter mile out of the island
leaving, and
when they were leaving, right when they were leaving. So that's what, 4:30, 4:31 to be exact, when that call was made. And he said
I mean, it was 30 foot of water.
30 foot of water.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're walking towards the east right now, but if you walk down to the west, that's where the west tip of the island is, and that's where the current picks up very, very bad.
People talk about the phone situation. I want to, because the way you articulate it, I just walked in the water with my pants,
Right.
they're wet, and you can tell right away that if you're hanging out in the water,
Right.
it doesn't appear, in my opinion, that you would have your phone on you. Is that typical for people to have their phones, or?
No, I mean, people come out here, especially on the 4th and, you know, Memorial Day, like, you know, days like that, they come out here to celebrate, and people get on the water to be off their phones, first off. Second off, if I'm sitting waist deep in water, and all my friends are, everybody's leaving their phone on a boat, in a lake, you know, if you're sitting on a pond, if no one's getting out of the water with their phone in their hand, unless, you know, it's to take a quick picture. But most of the pictures taken on the 4th of July were on the boat.
Yeah.
I mean, and, you know, salt water, if you drop your phone in salt water, most of the time you're not going to get it back.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, especially.
So listen to his tone of voice. It's the same. Like when he's explaining all these things, his tone of voice is at the same, he's like at the same pace throughout. His tone, this kid, Warren. But when Tatum is asking him difficult questions, which are not difficult, his questioning is horrible. Like, were you really an officer? Because your questioning sucks, in my opinion. He's not asking difficult questions. He's not asking shit, jack shit. Is he getting paid for this also? I'm assuming he's getting paid for this. Because what's in it for him? Yeah, what's in it for you, sir? So as I was saying, when Tatum is asking him the quote unquote difficult questions, his tone changes. His pace changes. And it's unusual. It's unusual. His responses appear, in my opinion, unusual when he is asked questions about that day. But see how clear he's explaining everything here?
The water's murky right now because there's been a lot of rain. You can't see, the visibility isn't good. The water isn't clear like it was last year around this time. And, you know, like no one has their phone though, usually. I mean, unless you're crazy, I'm not walking around with my phone in my hand. They've been walking around Horn Island, you know.
How many people left the phone on the boat? Was it just his phone when y'all left, or
right? I mean,
other people have phones on the boat?
Absolutely not. Like there was at least, well, I rode out here on a different boat, like I told you, and I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. I mean, to get on the boat with Wyatt because we were having, you know, boat issues. And when I got on the boat, there was phones everywhere on the console. I mean, everywhere. Like, I mean, there was everybody's phone that was sitting around the boat was on the console. Like we had phones that we didn't even know whose they were, you know?
Can you
and
hear me now?
People just leave their phone, especially when people are drinking and, you know, they're not in the right state of mind. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll just leave my phone and I'll get it later, you know? And that's the way it is around here. You know, you don't take your phone and walk around the island. You know, there's plenty of phones on the boat and, you know, spread out between the 3 boats that we had. And
yes,
I mean,
does it sound better?
We had 20 plus people on the spread between our 3 boats. So
Amy, does this sound better now? Can you tell me? Or is it low? Is it just the same? But do I sound low or?
Of course, everybody's phone was on the boat. I never saw someone in the water that day sitting with their phone in their hand, scrolling on anything or even taking pictures in the water. Yeah, someone might hop out the boat, you know, a lot of girls like to take pictures, you know, in the water, and so do guys. But you know, girls want to take pictures in the water. Half a second, you might hop out the boat and be like, "Oh, I'm snapping this picture of myself or of someone else." But as soon as I get back in the boat, I'm putting my phone up and I'm getting back in the water and I'm hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, that's just common sense, man. And describe to me what the day was like. I saw a video online. How hectic was it out here? I mean, right now it's barren. There's not a lot of people out here,
Right.
but clearly that's not what it was on the 4th of July. So, like, how dense was it with people here?
Well, I mean, you look at all the videos, you know, that are spread out online.
Amy, there has to be, because they're recording right now. There has to be some signal, right? Aren't they recording right now? Or I guess if it's not live. Wait, there has to be cell signal because we see videos on the island.
And a lot of them, you know, you can't believe what you see all the time online. You know that better than anybody. But I mean, there was boats lined up all the way down the island, and there was rows. There was a first row, there's a second row. We were in the third row where it drops off, and then there was.
Here's a photo of a shot July 4th, 4:41 p.m. I don't know who sent this, but here's a shot. Here's what he means about the boats lined up. But you also see some boats going deep, though.
Boats in front of us, and this went all the way down towards the east end of the island, and then there was people on the east tip, and we're on the north side now, but there was people on the south side too, lined up all the way down.
If you do 25 leg raises a day, your apron belly will go nice and toned. If you do 25,
and if you talk to anybody on the coast about this, they know that. I mean, 4th of July, this is the hot spot. This is where people want to be. This is where people want to come out, hang out with their family and friends. And
people say that you guys just left Nolan behind. I've seen reports of people saying that you just left him. I see reports of people saying that you asked him to get on the boat. You told him to get on the boat. He didn't. What's the truth in that?
Well, Wyatt was having boat issues and...
See what I mean? His tone changes when he's asked questions about that day. You see that? You see the difference? He sounds unusual, right? I keep thinking about this mic. I swear, like, if I listen to this video after I'm done and I feel like I'm just going to be upset. I think I should just end this and start all over. Yeah, they're saying that the tow got canceled as well. That's true, Amy. Like, what is it? I'm so confused as well. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they're just purposefully muddying the waters, you know, with all of these rumors. I also heard, which I don't know if it's true, that one of the boat owners they agreed to have the boat searched by dogs, which they should have done that a long ass time ago. Now they're agreeing to the search, which they should have done that like 2 weeks ago. I just recently heard that. I heard that was reported by Brian Thrasher. Brian Thrasher is the main spokesperson for United Cajun Navy that has come forward, and you see all of his interviews. That's Brian Thrasher. So he went on Lemon Nation. That guy Lemon, I forgot his name. I just know him as the Lemon guy. He was interviewed on that show, and he said that one of the owners are now agreeing to have the boat searched. And then, yeah, and then there's rumors about the judge cleaning the boat. And another thing, like, is that GPS data that was provided to us, is that actually, that GPS data, is it the boat Nolan was on, or is it another boat? Because we're hearing about 3 boats from this kid. So I guess we need GPS data on all of the boats then. We can't count any boat out because we honestly, we don't know what boat Nolan was on. There's a lot of contradictions. They're saying that the boat that Nolan was on Wyatt's boat. Well, let's hear what happened to Wyatt's boat. Let's listen. He says something happened here. Check it out.
This is where people want to come out, hang out with their family and friends.
And people say that you guys just left Nolan behind. I've seen reports of people saying that you just left him. I see reports of people saying that you asked him to get on the boat. You told him to get on the boat. He didn't. What's the truth in that?
Well, Wyatt was having boat issues and the bilge wouldn't pump. So the bilge is basically a pump that releases water from your boat when water comes in. So I opened the back hatch and there's water up to the batteries.
Are you guys listening to this? Because all of the questions that are being asked to him, this kid is dodging them. He's bringing up other stories. I can't. There's too much. There's too much going on here. He asked him a direct question. And this kid is bringing up another story. I just don't understand. I don't know. This fucking mic. Now I'm worried. Now I'm worried about this mic. Jesus Christ. Okay. Kylie Rodney case. They tampered the fire cams. So who knows? Hard to trust with all the cases lately. Yes, the judge has cleaned boat at 3 a.m. that night. Thank you, Amy. Okay, let's continue. So what I'm trying to say here is that look at the question that was asked of him and listen to this unusual response. I can't understand.
And people say that you guys just left Nolan behind. I've seen reports of people saying that you just left him. I see reports of people saying that you asked him to get on the boat. You told him to get on the boat. He didn't. What's the truth in that?
Okay, it's a direct question. What is the truth? Did you guys leave Nolan behind or did you not? Okay, this is a direct question. Did you guys leave? We're hearing that you left Nolan behind. What is your response to this? Okay? Now listen to this shit.
Well, Wyatt was having boat issues and
Wyatt was having boat issues. I think it's freaky that you like it a lot. Let's go ahead and block this person, maybe. Yeah, let's block him, maybe. Ban user, because I don't have the time and energy for bullshit right now. Maybe I like it. Maybe you're just a fucking moron. Maybe. Um, he was asked a direct question. Did you guys leave Nolan behind? And here's the response. Well, Wyatt was having boat issues. Again, this is the boat Nolan was on.
the bilge wouldn't pump. So the bilge is basically
So now he's explaining the bilge. This whole bilge story is a fucking decoy. It's a distraction. It's let's see. It's the Elantra in the Idaho 4. The Elantra or the sheath. It's a distraction from the truth. We don't give a fuck about the bilge. We're asking, did you leave Nolan behind? Yes or no? The fuck you talking about here?
A pump that releases water from your boat when water comes in. So I open the back hatch and there's water up to the batteries. And that is obviously not good. There's water almost.
See his tone? You're good, right? Because when he is explaining something, he's explaining the technical stuff about something, he's totally good. Oh, you're good, right? Yeah, yeah. You know how to explain shit. You know how to explain the currents. You know how to explain the islands. You know how to explain the boat issues. You know how to explain all of that shit. But that's not what we asked you, Warren. We asked you, did you leave Nolan behind? Yes or fucking no? I'm sick of this shit. I am so sick of this shit.
Coming over the transom, which is where your motors sit, and which is the, by the stern, like in the back part of the boat. So obviously we were in emergency. The boat, we're trying to.
We were in an emergency. You were in such an emergency that you called off help. You initially made a phone call for help because your boat was sinking, or was it Wyatt? Who called? I mean, these are questions, Tatum. What the fuck you're doing here, bro? You're a waste of fucking flesh. That's what you are. You're a waste of flesh. These are fucking questions he should be asking. Who made the fucking call? Was it Wyatt or Warren?
Save the boat.
So all the boats were together then? All three of the boats were hanging out together the whole time?
It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan.
We're trying to save the boat. So while we're trying to save the boat, we just happen to leave Nolan. What?
And that is obviously not good. There's water almost coming over the transom, which is where your motors sit, and which is the, by the stern, like in the back part of the boat. So obviously we were in emergency. The boat, we're trying to save the boat. It's not like
we're trying to save the boat, and it's clipped. These videos are highly edited. These videos are highly edited, and they're just showing us what they want us to hear. But yet he's seeking for the truth. How the fuck does that make sense? Yeah, sure. You're seeking for the truth. Yeah, sure.
we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl that he was with, and the girl is a witness to that too.
Yeah.
Well, where's the girl? Let's talk to the girl then. Where is she? Where's this girl? Why hasn't she been interviewed, interrogated? Hey, let's hash this out right here. Let's hash this out right here. Put them together in a fucking room. Fucking do something, law enforcement.
I'm glad you cleared.
Something's not right here.
See,
Let's go back.
the boat, we're trying to save the boat.
So they were so busy saving the boat that they left Nolan? We're trying to save the boat. But you were trying to save the boat, but you called off help? There's just too many inconsistencies. Way too many.
It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or we
It's not like we didn't ask Nolan?
just left Nolan.
Or we just left Nolan. It's not like we didn't ask him what? So you're saying you asked? Or are you saying you did ask?
Nolan decided to stay on the island.
He decided to stay on the island? This seems strange. This seems strange. I'm sorry. I don't believe him. I don't. That's my opinion. I don't believe this kid.
With the girl that he was with. And the girl is a witness to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the girl that is a witness to that too. She's a witness to what? To Nolan deciding to stay?
I'm glad you cleared that up because
We're trying to save the boat. It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl that he was with. And the girl is a witness to that too.
yeah. I'm glad.
Yeah, well, the girl said she left with you guys. So where do we stand now? So what's happening with this investigation? What happens? Did law enforcement, interrogate these two? No. He lawyered up. He absolutely lawyered up. But he's out here talking with the the anti-black dude. Out of all people, out of all media outlets, this is who he chooses to have an interview with. Forget that. Why don't you speak to Nolan's family? How about that? Why didn't you do that instead?
Glad you cleared that up because I think it's important for people to have the context of like what it was on that day, what happened, what didn't happen, and
suck, my dude. You fucking suck, bro.
And the beauty of all of this is that you guys have evidence,
Right.
to prove.
What evidence? What fucking evidence do you have? What fucking evidence do you have? That fucking distress call that you called off? That's your evidence? Wow. I'm telling you, that call was to distract. That call was to distract. That was a decoy. Something was happening between 4 o'clock and 6 p.m., in my opinion.
That, of course, you asked Nolan to come on and different things like that. So, but anyway, man, I appreciate you.
You asked Nolan to come on.
Decided to stay on the island.
No, he didn't. He said it's not like we didn't ask him, but he's not telling you he asked Nolan, let's go. He didn't say that. He didn't say, Nolan, let's go, we're leaving. That's not what he said. Listen to what he said.
And that is obviously not good. There's water almost coming over the transom, which is where your motors sit, and which is the, by the stern, like in the back part of the boat. So obviously we were in emergency. The boat, we're trying to save the boat. It's not like we didn't.
We're trying to save the boat. Forget you, Nolan. Fuck you, Nolan. We're saving the boat. We're saving the boat, my dude. I don't know about you. You can stay, Nolan, but we're saving this boat. I don't know. That's how I'm taking it. In my opinion, this is my perspective.
Asked Nolan or we just left Nolan. Nolan decided.
He said it's not like we didn't ask Nolan, but he's not blatantly telling you that he asked Nolan. Does he even have any teeth? He's not even telling you that he asked Nolan. He didn't say, we told Nolan we're leaving, let's go. He didn't say that. This is what he's saying.
The boat. It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or.
He said, it's not like we didn't ask Nolan. So did you ask or did you not? Because it's still unclear to me if you asked or not.
We just left Nolan. Nolan decided.
It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan. Oh, boy.
We're trying to save the boat. It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan.
When he said left Nolan, look at his hand movements. Or we just left Nolan. You see those hand movements? Like left Nolan. Oh boy. Look at his hand movements.
We're trying to save the boat. It's not like we didn't ask Nolan or we just left Nolan. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl that he was with. And the girl is a witness to that too.
Yeah. I'm glad you cleared that up, because I think it's important for people to have the context of like what it was on that day, what happened, what didn't happen, and the beauty of all of this is that you guys have evidence to prove that. Of course, you asked Nolan to come on and different things like that. So, but anyway, man, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You know, giving me a rundown of kind of what it was like on that day.
They have evidence to prove what? Hold on.
On that day, what happened, what didn't happen. And the beauty of all of this is that you guys have evidence to prove that. Of course, you asked Nolan to come on and different things.
No, he didn't say that. Where is the evidence that he asked Nolan to come on?
Like that, so.
And different things like that. You asked Nolan to come on and different things like that. You have evidence of that? How? In what form? Other witness statements? What form? What does that mean? You have evidence of that? Because hold up. Nobody called Katie when Nolan was not home. If they have been friends, and another band user, because I don't have the energy to respond to these trolls. I ain't got the time. Did anyone call Katie in any of... Exactly. That's a good point. That's a good point, Amy, because, okay, then show us proof that you actually called Katie at 11 p.m., right, when supposedly he was missing. Because remember, he made a call to Nolan's mom at 11, claiming Nolan was missing. The first story, Katie's mom said, no one saw Nolan get on the boat. Just Nolan said he's okay. Yeah, true. So Katie says, Katie said that Nolan said he was going back with friends. Correct. That's what we're hearing. Why would he stay with no ride back? I'm black. I'm not missing my ride. Exactly. When not only with no ride, no phone, no wallet. Yeah, no. We're not doing that. We're so not doing that. I'm sorry. No fucking girl is gonna no way. The girl Katie never saw Nolan get on a boat. They say only Nolan said, I'm going back with my friends. Now people are reporting that Katie saw him get in their boat. Wow. See what I'm saying? Now people are actually reporting that they saw them get on. It's just too many stories. Hand movements, you're tripping. You only want confirmation bias. Your mind is made up. No, my mind is not made up, and you're banned. My mind is made up, and you're banned, because I don't have energy for your shit either. Fuck that. Who the fuck sent you? Go back to the whole fucking hellhole you came from. Who the fuck sent you? I didn't call for you. Fuck out of here. I don't got time for y'all shit. The fuck you think this is? I'm not a fucking punching bag. Go get yourself a fucking punching bag. What the fuck? It's your problem. Anyway, he's saying that they have evidence that they asked Nolan to come on their boat. And different things like that. He's not even clear. Like, you're not even speaking clearly. You have evidence. You asked Nolan to come on and different things like that. You know, and shit like that and stuff like that. Fucking idiot. Get the fuck out of here. Also, let's talk about
But anyway, man, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You know, giving me a rundown of kind of what it was like on that day.
Right.
And hopefully people can understand what the truth is and make.
This is the motherfucker being biased. We're trying to figure out the truth. We want the facts. I'm pissed he's not even asking real questions. The fuck kind of questions is this? This is the motherfucker with the bias. Fuck out of here with your bullshit.
Your own decision on facts.
Right. I mean, based off like, people. There's not a lot of people that are from the Mississippi Gulf Coast that don't understand Horn Island and don't understand the way boating works.
Exactly.
And boating is a tight knit community. I like to.
Exactly. Nolan's not here. Oh, wait. He said he was staying back with Katie, right? Oh, let's call Katie and find out. I mean, logic. Fucking logic. Common sense. But no, they called Nolan's mother at 11 p.m.
Fish a lot, and there's everybody, a lot of people know a lot of people. Everybody knows everybody. I know a lot of fishermen on the Gulf Coast. They know me and my buddies because we like to go in the water all the time. I mean, that's what we do in the summer. And I mean, a lot of people from the Gulf Coast know the truth behind, oh, you don't take your phone out the boat. The little facts. It's a difficult subject. This Horn Island.
That's not true. Motherfucker, I've been on boats. What the fuck is you talking about? You think you're the only boat culture? This is boat culture. Like you're the only fucking state in the United States that has boat culture. You think we haven't been on boats? The fuck you think this is? We've been on fucking boats. And when I go on boats, I take my fucking phone with me in a plastic bag so it won't get wet. The fuck you talking about leaving the phone on a boat? Fuck out of here with these fucking bullshit.
Island's like 11 miles long, not to be exact, but around 11 miles long. It's not like this is a sliver of an island. It's a quarter mile. It's like a sandbar. No, this goes on to, even if we came around this corner right here, Brandon, we couldn't even see the end of the island.
Oh, really?
It's that long.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that was the end right there.
No. I mean, it goes all the way down there, and I mean, it's a big island. There's a lot of people out here, and I mean, that's the truth. That's the way it was.
It's a big island, and there's a lot of people out here. That's the
Oh,
truth.
really?
But what the fuck happened to Nolan, Warren? We don't give a shit how big the fucking island is and how many people were fucking there, bitch. The fuck happened to Warren?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that was the end right there.
No. I mean, it goes all the way down there, and I mean, it's a big island. There's a lot of people out here.
Yeah, it's a big island. There's a lot of people out here. Of course, Nolan, anybody could have done it. This is, in my opinion, to detract attention from himself and from his friend group. But these kids, in my opinion, something is wrong. Let's just say it like that. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Completely wrong. No emotion whatsoever. Think this is on the fucking day that Nolan's parents are having a funeral. They're out here on the same day. Nolan's family is putting their son to rest. No emotion. None. No. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Fuck out of here. Now, let's continue on to part 3. I'm so glad that my mic is working now, right? Yeah, I'm good. This was set up, in my opinion, powerful people for the, yeah, they didn't think, no, you're right, Amy. They had no idea who the fuck they were dealing with. They had no idea that Nolan's family is not playing fucking games. They lied. Look at this kid, like the fucking disrespect. You see this thumbnail with Nolan's family and Al Sharpton here? They lied. This piece of shit person. How dare you? How dare you? You know, if it's not for Al Sharpton and Ben Crump, this shit would have been swiped, swept right under the rug. 100%. Talking all that shit. He lied. Here's another one. He lied. If it wasn't for activists advocating for justice, advocating for the truth, for Nolan Wells and his family, this case would be swept under the rug. Okay? How dare you? Wow.
Whenever they're just
So this is part 3.
All right, guys, this might be the best deal Paleo Valley has ever done. 30 beef sticks for $36, which
we're going to listen to part 3. And I don't know how far we're going to take this episode. Let's see how it goes.
all right, guys, this might be the best deal Paleo Valley has ever done. 30 beef sticks for $36, which comes out to just a buck.
We walked in, 4th of July, everybody was out there. Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. The rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line.
Yeah, so y'all pretty much having a good time. And then you guys get ready to leave prematurely.
Right.
And like, what? Explain that, because you guys got there around 10.
Yeah.
It's now 4:30.
Right.
People are still out there partying and
Correct.
they're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys.
Right, Amy, you're right. It's almost like their publicist, the family's publicist, because I'm sure if they have money to lawyer up like that, then they have money to get a fucking publicist. Like, this is the thing. You have money to lawyer up and pay thousands of dollars for a lawyer, instead of having this kid talk to Nolan's family and tell Nolan's family what happened. Nolan's family deserves answers. And this motherfucker lawyered up and is out here talking to good old Mr. Tatum here, who is black. That was a perfect publicist move. It was indeed perfect. They're trying to gain the people of color, essentially. They're trying to and not only that, this can affect, I wouldn't, if this is obviously going to grand jury, right? We know this is obviously going to grand jury to determine if there should be an indictment. And if there is an indictment, this will go to trial. And guess what? The jurors, the public opinion, it's already out there. He's creating the narrative to influence public opinion before a trial. Do you understand that? So this is why we're here.
To get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I had a girl come up to me and say, "Hey, your brother just got in a fight." And obviously I have a younger brother, and that's who she was talking about. And I was
okay. I didn't know this, so some of this information may be new to me. So it sounds like his brother got into a fight. Okay, that's new to me. Again, we knew there were fights. We heard it on the footage. We knew there were fights. This is a type of environment. Kids drinking. They were fighting. There were 2 incidents that I know of. Now here's a 3rd incident that I'm learning of. Something happened to Nolan.
Up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So
This is what I'm saying. Are you guys okay. He asked a direct question. he's not responding to the question being asked. Again, this is unusual. This is unusual.
It's now 4:30.
Right.
People are still out there partying and
Correct.
they're having a good time, but something happened to where it
Yeah, because my first question is like, dude, aren't you going to stay for the fireworks? Because the fireworks out there on a boat, you know, in an island, that's dope. That's dope as fuck. You know, being out there on a boat, chilling, and then watching the sun come down and then seeing the fireworks. That's that's the plan. I thought that would have been the plan, but apparently not. Apparently the plan was to leave at 4:30 and go elsewhere. I don't know. It's just weird.
necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I had a girl come up to me.
Again, he's asking him about getting the boat up and running, and this kid is now bringing up another story, another narrative, another story. Like, what in the world is going on here?
And say, hey, your brother just got in a fight. And obviously, I have a younger brother, and that's who she was talking about. And I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I didn't walk over. I ran over. I made a beeline. I didn't talk to anybody.
No, this is the judge's son. Warren is Ashley Cole's stepson. This is him.
Put my drink down and walked over there. And my brother was kind of.
Yeah, that's huge, Amy. Maritime law is huge. And I think I went over it on one of these episodes. Maritime law, you know what that means, you guys? That means whoever is driving that vessel, whoever is the captain of that vessel is responsible for every person in that boat. And it carries heavy weight and heavy consequences, legal consequences. Legal consequences. I put on my community first one of the boys on Nolan's boat, I think. We can discuss the maritime laws, or you can Google it. But if you are the owner and the driver of that vessel, you are responsible for each and every person on the boats, and you are responsible that that person reaches point A and back to point B safely. There's no ands, buts about it. There's not. So the fact that they left Nolan there, that is a huge, and there will be consequences. There will be. Mark my words, there will be consequences, because this family is not fucking playing games. That's another thing that I'm hearing, that when Javon's mom goes to get Nolan's phone from Wyatt's house, because see, they slept over Wyatt's house. They didn't sleep over Warren. Warren and Nolan, maybe some other boys too, I'm not sure, but they stayed over Wyatt's house. And when Lakima, I forgot her name, I'm sorry, but Javon's mom when they tracked his phone to Wyatt's, they were sitting in the dark surrounding ATV. Sitting in the dark surrounding ATV. That's how she found them. And in my head, I was like, oh no. I said a joke. I'm like, watching Vampire Diaries, probably. Like the Idaho 4. Watching Vampire Diaries. Because seriously, that's fucking unusual. Like, why are you not worried about Nolan being missing at this point? And you have his phone. And you have his phone. To top it all off, you had his phone. That's crazy to me. It is creepy. Thank you for being here. Oh my God.
Angry, and there was a lot going on, but someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was, and my brother was like, "Oh, I just got in a fight, and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back, and then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an arm bar." And
Was Nolan involved in any of this?
Absolutely not. When I was over there, it was a bunch of younger guys like my
Well,
brother's
how
age,
did we even believe you? Like,
and I mean,
how do we
Nolan. I
even
never
believe
saw
that?
Nolan over there
So listen, his brother was in a
in a
fight.
fight, and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back, and then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an arm bar.
No, this is crazy, bro.
My brother was
No,
kinda-
there's just too much going on. There's just too much going on for Nolan to have simply drowned.
angry, and there was a lot going on, but someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was, and my brother was like, "Oh, I just got in a fight, and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back, and then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an arm bar." And
Was Nolan involved in any of this?
My brother put him in an arm bar.
Absolutely not. When I was over there, it was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age, and I mean, Nolan. I never saw Nolan over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And
What?
but
That seems like, I'm sorry, I'm sensing, I'm a human lie detector. If you guys didn't know, welcome, nice to meet you. I am a human lie detector. That response was deceiving. Check this out. Look at how he says, absolutely not. Oh my God, you guys.
Was
there's
Nolan
much
involved
this
in any of
interview.
this?
absolutely not. When I was over there, it was a bunch of younger guys, and my brother was like, "Oh, I just got in a fight, and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back, and then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an arm bar." And
Was Nolan involved in any of this?
absolutely not. When I was over there, it was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age, and I mean, Nolan. I never saw Nolan over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And but
He said it again. Look at how the way, look at his, check out his mannerism. Ready?
And I mean, Nolan. I never saw Nolan over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And
The way he goes like this.
and then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an arm bar. And
Was Nolan involved in any of this?
absolutely not. When I was over there, it was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age, and I mean, Nolan. I never saw Nolan over there.
Right there. The tip. I never saw Nolan there. Yeah, bro. My guy, I'm on to you, my guy. I am so on to you, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And but okay, sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
So you get ready to go. There's an issue with the boat.
Okay, yeah.
And this is
Well,
what
yeah, this
ended
led up to that. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying.
So the fight happened with your brother, or a little scuffle.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming that it was cleared up.
You're right.
You got your brother out of that situation, and then how did you find out that this boat is sinking?
Well,
Me either.
I walk back over,
shit
and like
he's
we're
saying,
probably
bro.
around each other for a little bit. I mean, I wasn't thinking anything about it. I told my brother. I pulled my brother.
It's not just like one thing. It's not just like, oh, it's not just like, oh, wait, he stayed behind with Katie, and then Katie coming out here and saying, no, he left with his friends. Nolan didn't stay behind with me, says Katie. It's not even just that. It's all of these other little things combined. The deleted messages, the family having to wait 15 minutes to get the phone or the keys. No emotion. Clearly no emotion about your best friend and your buddy being dead. Nothing.
Off the beach, and I was just like, listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down. I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, you know? And so once I got back over the boat,
But I didn't want anything else to happen, but something else did happen, didn't it, Warren? Something else did happen. I didn't want nothing else to happen.
Boat
Sure.
is sinking.
well, I walk back over, and like we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean, you know, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I pulled my brother off the beach, and I was just like, listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down. I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, you know? And so once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom.
Now we know that Triton is where Nolan was. Wyatt's boat. According to him, that's where Nolan was, on Wyatt's boat. Now check this out, because let's back this up. Because where was he exactly with his brother?
Well, I walk back over, and like we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean,
Because exactly, he talks about his brother, and Tatum is like, wait, but
Assuming that it was cleared up,
you're right.
you got your
it's crazy because that wasn't the original question. The original question was, how'd you manage, you know, to get the boat back running, right? Was the question. Was the initial question. And he explains about his brother fighting, having a brawl, yada yada, right? So then he's like, wait, but you never answered my question. How did you manage to get the boat up and running again? So listen here.
brother out of that
Right.
situation, and then how did you find out
Exactly. Back to the fucking question we asked you, dude.
that this boat is sinking?
Well, I walk back over, and like we're
Yeah, how'd you find out the boat was sinking? Okay. Now all of a sudden he's not there. He's not there when the boat is sinking. He's handling his brother, right? He was handling his brother is what he's saying, right? Now listen.
Boat is sinking.
well,
How'd you find out that the boat was sinking?
walk back over, and like we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean, you know, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I pulled my brother off the beach, and I was just like, listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down. I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, you know? And so once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat. And, you know, no water's coming out, no access water's coming out. And, you know, it was a big issue because I think the reason was because there were so many.
This is the second time he says issue. The first interview, he says issue. In the first interview, he brings up an issue. And this is the second time he says issue. Okay? Clock it. I'm clocking it.
People getting on and off the boat, and at some point the boat was very, very crowded, and there was just a lot of people on, so that it drags water in. And eventually, I think over time, we were out there for a couple hours, the boat just started filling up with water. So I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery was completely underwater. And so the motor wouldn't trim down. I mean, my buddy would go to trim it down from the console, and it'd trim down, and then it'd come right back up. And so Wyatt's trying to throw a rear anchor, so we're caught, and he's, you know, yelling at people. Everybody's kind of freaking out. And eventually.
Interesting. This is interesting to me. Everyone's freaking out. I'll check it out. I'll check it out after this.
I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, you know, calm down. Like, you know, the boat could possibly sink, and,
Okay, so they're
yelling at people. Everybody's kind of freaking out.
so everyone's yelling at each other. Wyatt is yelling at people. Warren is yelling at people while everyone is freaking out.
And eventually, I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, calm down. Like, the boat could.
Why are you yelling at people to calm down? That you shouldn't be yelling at people to calm down. Yelling means you're arguing. Yelling is arguing, fighting. You don't yell to calm someone down. What the fuck is this? You don't yell at someone to calm them down. What is wrong with this?
Possibly sink, and I'm not paying attention to everyone around me. I was paying attention to my buddy's boat. And that's what all.
In other words, I wasn't paying attention to Nolan. I have no clue about Nolan because I'm trying to save the boat. As he said in the second part of this, he was trying to save the boat, right? Fuck a Nolan, right?
My other friends that were on that boat were doing, trying to solve the problem.
So you're on the boat now. The water is getting up to the point where the boat may be disabled to where you couldn't get it out.
Correct.
From Horn
Correct.
Island. So what happens after that?
Wyatt jumps to the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy Meyer, you're sitting, looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge, and the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the water.
He loves talking about boats. He is, oh my God, he's getting comfortable. Oh, he loves it. He's like, yes, I can talk boats all day. Just don't ask me any questions about Nolan. Yes, I can talk boats. I can talk bilge. I can talk engine all fucking day, but just don't ask me questions about Nolan, right? Right, Warren? I'm on to you, boy. I am so fucking on to you. So this other guy that he mentions here, his name starts with a B, which that person, Bart, Bart owns the Palm Beach boat, and that's the boat that Warren was in. Again, Nolan was on Wyatt's boat, the Triton. And Warren was on Bart's boat, the Palm Beach. He's like, yeah, I can talk boats
Access
all
water
day,
out the
baby.
boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any excess water was just sitting in the boat. It wasn't getting pumped out. And I looked over the gunnel and I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was even with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then eventually my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, all this chaos. Cause we left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount. I mean, it was crazy. Like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of. So, I mean, we're all freaking out.
Okay.
All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat.
Okay.
Well, then eventually my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, all this chaos. Cause we left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more than when we got there.
Of course, it's 4th of July. It's 4th of July. How dope would it have been to just like stayed out there, watch the sun go down, watch the fireworks? Why are you guys leaving so early? Was that the plan? Was that the original plan? I'm sure there's text messages out there. If long job and subpoena these phones, I'm sure there's text messages out there with a plan, because again, listen to part 1 of this. This was planned for weeks, you guys. This event, 4th of July, was planned for weeks. Right from the horse's mouth. Warren being the horse. This was planned for weeks. So you mean to tell me that you planned this and decided to leave before the fireworks? I'm not buying it. And if you want to buy it, I have a bridge to sell you.
I mean, probably around the same amount. I mean, it was crazy. Like there was a lot of people, and I mean, eventually Bart pulls us out. You know, we left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and
That's what he's talking about. This here, something happened here, you guys. Something happened here. This is the time. This is the vital. This time is vital, you guys. And look at him. Look at him. Look at this body language. Look at him staring at his. Yeah, I got to think about what I'm about to say right now, because this shit, it's about to get real. Isn't it? Isn't it, Warren? Shit's about to get real right now, because that's that time right there. Something happened to Nolan, in my opinion. So now he's saying that they're a quarter mile out from the island at this point.
we had the towing strap pulled from, you know, Bart's port side cleat or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow. And so it was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get it situated. So that's when Wyatt called sea tow. And
Okay. And as we learned from Cito, that it was called off. Wyatt, the owner of the Triton, this is the boat in danger that they're trying to save. They're trying to save the Triton. They're trying to save the Triton. And you have the smaller boat was the Palm Beach boat, which Bart owns. So it seems like Bart's boat was pulling the Triton. Okay? Wyatt places the call.
I was like, you know, calls them, because the cell service isn't great at the island, but once you
Bitch, you just got caught out there. Bitch, you got just caught out there. I knew cell service worked out there. I fucking knew it. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Bart pulled them out and it got canceled. And guess what? There's cell service. There is cell service. See? I have been saying it's my opinion. What are you talking about? Well, that's like your opinion. I literally said my fucking opinion. You know what? I don't got time for you either. I'm done. I'm done. My patience with fucking trolls has reached a level. Like, if you're coming in here with bullshit, I don't know how to turn this to subscriber mode only. I should do subscribe. Next live, I'll do subscriber mode only. Yeah. Clicks for Triagity, sure, banned. Next. I'm not even I'm just banning people. Cause the fuck you mean? Anyways, what I'm trying to say is here, there is fucking service, you fucking liars.
I mean, you can use your phone, but stuff might not descend, and like,
yeah, you can use your phone.
Like, I mean, it's not great. You know, you got maybe one bar.
One bar is enough to make a phone call and a text. One bar is plenty, trust me.
It won't work that well. But once you get a little off the island, you have cell coverage. And even on the island, like I called my mom when we were on the island, you know, it was fine. Like we had, you know, enough cell coverage to make a phone call or shoot a text over, but you don't have enough cell coverage to like send a picture, for example. So what?
So I want to go back.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to touch on that real quick, because the phone thing came up at some point. And so was it when you guys got off the boat?
Yeah.
I mean, were people taking their phones off the boat, or is that not typical? Because I know that Nolan's phone was left on the boat.
Right.
even though, after you guys had left. So can you explain that? Because I think people need to understand this a little clearer.
Yeah.
Was it typical for people to have their phones left on boats, or did they keep their phones in the water? Or?
Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of goes out to the island to get away from, their phone.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. When I'm on the boat, I have my phone on a plastic cover because I want to take pictures.
Phones and everything else. I know I got on the boat to get away from, just the regular world. And no, when you're waist deep in water, no one's carrying their phone in their hand.
I am.
Especially at Horn Island, the water has been very, very murky because of the rain. And when it's just very risky. If you're gonna have your phone in the water, some people might for a couple minutes and like maybe taking some pictures of each other. I know a lot of girls like to take pictures in the water at Horn Island. Guys do too. Like people like to take pictures, and but a lot of the pictures you see are on the boat for a reason. And so, no, I mean, if someone is on their phone in the water, they're using it real quick and then putting it right back on the boat. We were all waist deep in water. No one's sitting there scrolling on their phone. I never saw that once, and I've never seen that once. And I've been out the Highland my whole life. I mean, that's just not something people do. People aren't on their phones, and everybody has their phone, yes, but it's always on the boat. No one's getting off the boat with their phone. So,
and so you guys get ready to leave out of there, getting towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, the last time I saw Nolan was 3:00, and Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms.
Motherfucker. Yo, Idaho 4. This is like, how everyone was interviewed by the Moscow Police Department, and everyone wanted to put the girls in a bad light. The girls are doing drugs. The girls are into this. The girls are into that. You're a best friend and brother, but here we go. He's painting this narrative. Ready?
Katie. Katie. And Katie,
girl.
Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at
I mean, the way he said cradling a girl, who talks like that? Yo, who talks like that? Cradling a girl in his arms. I don't know. I'm sensing jealousy here. Do you guys believe that this could have been sparked from jealousy? Is it possible?
Katie. Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But
at 3 p.m.
when we were leaving, obviously
at 3 p.m. So let's get this right. Let's get this straight. Oh my God. What happens from 3 p.m. to 4:30? Did you say, Nolan, we're leaving? Nolan, let's go, we're leaving. Nolan, I have your phone. You're staying behind with Katie? Okay, here's your phone. What happens from 3 o'clock to 4:30 then?
No one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked, this is a very common thing.
Demanded. Oh, so now Nolan demanded to stay? Bro. Oh, this is a script. Now you know it's scripted. Now you know it is scripted, and he is creating a narrative that Nolan demanded to be left behind. It is my opinion, as I've been saying all along. This is my opinion. We are analyzing this interview because he's one of the last persons to see Nolan on the island before Nolan went missing, and we're trying to get to the truth of what happened to Nolan. So this is my fucking opinion, and if you don't like it, you don't need to be here. There's hundreds of other channels covering this. Choose your flavor, because this one is not your flavor. Now, in my opinion, this is a narrative he is creating. He used the word demanded. He is creating a narrative that Nolan demanded to be left behind.
I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously no one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to.
Unless they demanded to. Are you hearing this shit?
You know, be there and ask, you know, this is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. You know, it's a very common thing. But Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and
that Katie girl.
My buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving.
Wyatt yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. Again, yelled for Nolan. Yell is when you're arguing and fighting. That's yelling. Okay? So was there an argument? Because you keep using this yelling word. I have so many negative words that he has said in these interviews. Issues, yelling, incidents, fighting, demanding. What the actual fuck happened to Nolan?
The boat's having issues, and like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but.
It's not uncommon to hear, but is that what you fucking heard? Is that what you fucking heard, though? Bro, something's wrong.
Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out. No.
Who
Yelled
was
for
panicking?
Nolan.
Who was panicking?
Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else.
With who? With who? Again, there were only 3 boats and a whole group of y'all. Who was he going to ride with? You know? You're out there with Bart on the Palm Beach boat, supposedly, and Wyatt is on the Triton. Who was he going to ride back with?
And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get.
Okay, you said you have evidence of that, right? On part 2, when they're on the island, Tatum's like, oh yeah, you guys have evidence of this. You guys have evidence that you asked Nolan, you know, da-da-da-da-da, or something like that. Oh yeah, you have evidence of that.
Get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island. And like he said, you know.
How many people heard that? Were there just,
at least
just a
5
few, or?
I mean, everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm
Everyone that was on our boat right there. 'Cause
Beach
the
had already
Palm Beach-
left. My buddy went.
The Palm Beach had already left. But you said Bart helped. Hang on. No. Something's wrong. Because you said that the Palm Beach, the boat you were in with Bart, pulled the Triton. So you're saying, oh, then after he pulled you guys and you guys were. This is not making sense to me. He said the Palm Beach boat pulled the Triton. So this is not making sense to me. Now he's saying that the Palm Beach had already left. When? See, this is why we need the GPS data of all the fucking boats. All the boats.
I had and went home on the Palm Beach, and three guys.
My buddy went home. Wait, hold on.
How many people heard that? Were there
At least
just a
five.
few, or?
I mean, everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and three guys on the way back.
And Nolan
wasn't the only person to ride out there with us. He went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and three guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride
so his buddy
on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us.
Wait, hold on. I'm so sorry.
This was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and three guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else. I mean, we had multiple people in our group that rode out with us and rode in on someone else's boat. And that, like I said, that's not an uncommon thing to do. You know, I mean, a lot of people do that. I could name probably.
Yeah, but what if Nolan didn't know anyone else there but you, Warren? What if Nolan didn't know anyone else there but you, Warren? Warren, you invited him. You invited him. From the looks of it.
Probably 50 people out there that day that ran out with somebody and ran back in with somebody else. So, I mean, it's not like it's an uncommon thing, but it's not like we just left him there, or my friends just left him there. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island after my friends asked him multiple times and told him to get on the boat, and he decided to stay.
And I heard
why is it Wyatt's job to ask him if you're his friend? He's not even friends with Wyatt. He wasn't friends with Wyatt. Wyatt's an older dude. So it was Wyatt's job to ask him, but not your job, being his friend? Oh, you're such a good friend, huh? My best friend. He's my best friend. He's my brother. He's my best friend. This fucking motherfucker, bro.
My friends asked him multiple times and told him to get on the boat, and he decided to stay.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling
correct
for Nolan to get on it. Is that true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking and everybody's texting Katie, you know, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, you know, this is the last time I saw him, you know, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she...
Wait. So the next day, but you called the Coastal Guard and you called Nolan's mom at 11 p.m. You called the Coastal Guard for help because Nolan was missing. That was at 11 p.m. So what you talking about, people panicking the next day? The following day, they're panicking. You're panicking the following day? That makes no sense.
Everybody's texting Katie, you know, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling
correct
for Nolan to get on it. Is that true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking and everybody's texting Katie, you know, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, you know, this is the last time I saw him, you know, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat. And she was right there to see that Nolan decided not to.
Yeah.
But that's not what Katie said, my love. Katie said he left with his friends. Here lies the problem. Here lies the contradiction.
So you guys get in the boat, you start to get towed in, and you make it back. Now explain how did you get to the point where you were concerned about Nolan? Because obviously you said, "Hey, Nolan, y'all need to," or somebody, not
when
you,
did I get
but
to that point?
you guys had made mention Nolan needed to get on a boat.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
You guys get back to wherever you're going.
Right.
Explain that. Did you guys go back to somebody's house, or you
Right.
guys like what happened there? And then when did you feel like, well, wait a minute, where's Nolan?
Right. Okay. Well, running in was very chaotic. I mean, Nolan chose to stay on the island, so my focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat, because if the boat doesn't get in, then no one gets in. I don't want to sink out there on my buddy's boat, and no one does. But my buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat once we kind of got out there, because he got the motor to trim down, and the motor trimmed down. My buddy Wyatt pulled the plug, and we planed off. We moved all the weight to the front of the boat so we could plane off, and eventually we planed off, and the boat was running. So when you're planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 40, 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat. So, I mean, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, like, the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island, so we were all tired, and eventually we go over to a girlfriend of mine. She was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff. So
This is bullshit, bro. My God. What were they doing in Fort Bayou? What were they doing over there? Right? What were they actually doing over there?
So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island.
Napped? Damn. Yo, this is crazy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. He even napped and everything. I can't.
We were all tired, and eventually we go over to a girlfriend of mine. She was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff. So we all went over there to swim and hang out. And
this infamous picture that I've seen online.
He hasn't shed a tear once. He hasn't shed a tear not once. He has not said anything about Nolan, not once. Nothing nice about Nolan. Nothing.
Of Nolan in the water in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Where is this picture associated with? Because you said you guys went back to swim. Nolan wasn't with you.
Yeah.
So where is this picture at? Like,
Right.
what's the context around the picture that's been floating?
That picture is taken on June 27th, a week before the 4th of July. We all went to a friend of ours in Pass Christian. We have a lot of friends from Bay St. Louis, Pass Christian. We all went over there to hang out, and
And Nolan was in that picture.
Nolan was in that picture, and if you look in the picture, my arm is around Nolan in that picture. And
that's your arm.
I mean, that was a week
Nolan.
before the 4th of July, so
Interesting. Okay.
that picture
Around
is
his
not
neck,
associated
huh?
within even the same. I mean, that was like a week before, so yeah.
So
Week before?
you guys are
Okay.
now at swimming and having a good time at a lady friend's house.
Right. I never got to the pool. I talked to her dad for a while,
Okay.
and I mean, all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad. We were talking about boats and stuff, and I wasn't.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been with my
because-
friends all day. I was just talking to everybody, but
So you talked to the young lady's dad,
Mhm.
and then how long was it before you realized, or you guys realized that, well, where's Nolan at?
I mean, we I went back downstairs and all my friends were just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had addressed, talking about Nolan, and I was like, well, where is Nolan? Have y'all heard from him? And
I don't know, but to be Nolan's mother and watching, this guy, this piece of shit person leaving my son behind, not wanting to answer, not wanting to bring me his phone, his car. He slept over your house, supposedly, allegedly. They then slept. They were supposed. Basically, Nolan was supposed to stay with Warren, but they ended up sleeping over at Wyatt's house for whatever reason. Okay? This kid that supposedly is Nolan's best friend never showing to the funeral, never answering questions about Nolan. But here you are sitting with this guy who hates his race, allegedly, hates his own fucking race, allegedly. Coming out here in public, talking this shit. Yo, my heart breaks for that mother. My heart breaks for that mother.
he was like, no, we haven't. And I was like, okay, well, it's a little concerning. Like, I mean, I'm not freaking out or anything, but like, I'm trying to find out where Nolan is. So I texted Javon and I was like, hey, and also a couple other buddies that I had at the island. I was like, hey, have y'all seen Nolan? Did he ride in with y'all? And all the buddies were like, no. Well, I texted Javon and I was like, hey, can you send me Miss Christine's number? Because I haven't heard from Nolan. And if she hasn't heard from Nolan, then I'm calling the Coast Guard. And so eventually Javon sends me her number.
Who is her? That's
Miss Christine.
Miss Christine is
Nolan's mom.
Nolan's mom. Okay.
Yeah. And I walked down to the dock because, I mean, there was a lot of people at Ava's. Not a lot, but, there was probably 15 of our friends there. And I was just like, walked down to the dock with a couple of my buddies, and I got on the phone I called Miss Christine, called her the first time. She didn't answer. I called her a second time, and I got on the phone with her, and I asked her if she had heard from Nolan. She said no. And I said, all right, well, don't freak out. I'm going to call the Coast Guard. And this was at about...
He told her, don't freak out. I'm going to call the Coast Guard. Don't freak out. Boy, what is your problem, bro?
11 o'clock.
So what's your intent in calling the Coast Guard, right? Because right now, Nolan could be with a chick. He could be with somebody else.
Right.
He could have gone back with somebody else. What made you concerned enough that you felt like you couldn't weigh it out anymore? You had to call the Coast Guard.
Well, I mean, like I said, my friends and I have been on the water a whole...
Don't freak out, you motherfucker. Don't freak out. Are you fucking kidding me? Yo, my heart goes out to Christine. My heart goes out to that mother. Boy.
That you felt like you couldn't weigh it out anymore. You had to call the Coast Guard.
Well, I mean, like I said, my friends and I have been on the water our whole life. Stuff happens. People die all the time. I know people that have died out there. And,
people die.
It's a fun place to be, but it's also...
Bro, with not a tear. Yo, oh my... I can't take this. After this interview, I'm done. I had a whole shit planned out. I'm done. This is evil. This is fucking evil. Yo, the disregard for human life. The disregard for human life coming out of this person's mouth. Nah, bro. Nah.
Concerned enough that you felt like you couldn't weigh it out anymore. You had to call the Coast Guard.
Well, I mean, like I said, my friends and I have been on the water our whole life. Stuff happens. People die.
Shit happens. People die. Bro. Let me calm down. This shit is crazy.
All the time. I know people that have died out there. And, it's a fun place to be, but it's also a very, very dangerous place to be if you're not handling it right. And Nolan, so I hadn't heard from him, and obviously I'm thinking I'd way rather be safe than sorry. I mean, I would rather call the Coast Guard 100 times and lose my mind over it. My
Yeah, I know you'd rather be safe, motherfucker.
buddy be okay than, not, and me not know where he is and him not be okay. And so I called the Coast Guard and I talked to them on the phone for like 20 minutes, gave him a description, what Nolan was wearing, the last place we were at, the last time I saw him, who were we with, what boat we were on, the conditions of the water, just
They better release that fucking call. They better release that fucking call. Sorry for cursing. I am angry. And I'm going to end this live after this interview because this person over here
summary.
has
And
this
I called Miss
person over
Christine
here
back after.
has zero regard for human life. Zero. Who the fuck raised you? Who the fuck raised you?
And I talked to her and I said, I got in contact with the Coast Guard. I'm not sure who she called or, what she did, but I think she said she was going to make a couple phone calls to either DMR or Jackson County Sheriff's Office. And I was thinking worst case scenario. Like, I would way rather be safe than sorry about this,
Yeah. So you called. So it seems like you called mom immediately.
Right.
Probably the first phone call that she got from anybody.
That's the first phone call, like at least I made. And I would assume that's the first phone call she got from anybody because Javon hadn't called her. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but Javon hadn't called her. And, I was just worried about my friend. Stuff happens out there, boat problems. It could be anything. But,
well, that's clipped.
there's a lot of.
Well, that's clipped. He keeps clipping some stuff you want full transparency, right, Mr. Tatum? You want to give everyone the truth, but you're clipping the shit out of his statements.
There, boat problems. It could be anything, but there's a lot of stuff that happens out there, and I was just worried about my friend.
And so you guys made that call. Nothing that night, and I'm assuming you wake up the next day, and then what happens?
I wake up the next day at about 7:30, and my dad had texted me because obviously Nolan's photo was all over Facebook, and I just saw it everywhere, and I was freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, like that,
Yeah, you had no fucking clue, did you? You don't know who the fuck you were messing with, bitch. You had zero clue who the fuck you were messing with, right? Look at this. Look at his, what is that? Blush? Makeup? Scratch? What's going on here? You know what I mean? You see this stuff? I noticed that.
I assumed, Nolan's just, we had been drinking all day and that he's just sleeping somewhere and, that he's okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I didn't.
When you saw this fucking post, didn't you? Oh shit, now it's time to panic, isn't it, Mr. Warren?
Want to believe that if we didn't know for sure. So, next day I woke up and my stepdad walked to my room and he said, hey, like, have they heard anything about Nolan? Like, what's going on? Because I hadn't spoke to him. And he was like, I was like, yeah, no, like, I don't know. I had just gotten up. And he was like, all right, well, we're going and getting on the boat and looking for him. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I got my buddy Ricky, I got my buddy Brooks, I got my buddy Jax. My mom came on the boat with my stepdad and I, and we all went out there and looked. When I got out there, there was...
Wait, Jax is the... Wait, hold on.
If this doesn't work for you, we...
Hold on,
we promise a 10...
Jax... Wait, was it Wyatt? Okay, I'm not entirely sure if they stayed over Wyatt's or Jack's house. I want to say it was Jack's house. I retract my statement about Wyatt. He actually stayed at Jack's house because now I remember that during the conference, the dad went to pick up the keys from Jax's house. So he did stay at Jack's. I will retract that statement. So listen to this. Okay, so that morning they went out on the boat.
Yeah. So I got my buddy Ricky, I got my buddy Brooks, I got my buddy Jax. My mom came on the boat with my step.
Okay, so they went on the boat to look out for him. He said he woke up at 7. So it's definitely after Coach and Dad were out there, because Coach and Dad were out there on the islands looking for him at 5 in the morning, according to the dad. So they came later, they came after that.
Dad and I, and we all went out there and looked. When I got out there was dozens of DMR boats, helicopters.
You probably weren't expecting that, were you, Warren? You were panicking, weren't you? I'm sure you wasn't expecting that. Good for the parents. Good for Nolan's parents.
Planes flying over Horn Island. And this wasn't just Horn Island. There was also Ship Island they were looking at, I'm sure.
Yeah. And what's crazy about this whole ordeal is that Nolan is not found on the 5th. No, after all of this, Nolan is still not found, you guys.
And Chandelier Island, Petty Boy. I mean, it wasn't just Horn Island specifically, but where I was at Horn, there were boats everywhere, and not just like random boats, but like, marine resource boats and, cops and, the whole nine. Like, it wasn't like there was just a couple boats looking for Nolan. There was planes and helicopters and, everybody. So
as they should.
And then after this, obviously they didn't find Nolan that day.
Right.
Right.
And so what was your reaction like when you heard the news, or how did you hear the news that they found Nolan's body?
Well, the next day, it got to be about 1 o'clock on July 5th. And I was like, my mind started to turn. I was like, man, if he's not awake yet, like, where is he? Like, I got very, very worried. And, I was with my buddy Brooks the next day, and we're driving, and my buddies were texting my group chat. They were like, hey, listen. And then I got a phone call from my buddy Trace, and he was like, hey, man, they just found his body. And I was like, I wanted to have hope, but it was really, really hard to have hope when they
found
from my buddy Trace, and he was like, hey, man, they just found his body.
Okay. They just found his body. Like, that's weird. That's weird to me.
And I was like, I wanted to have hope, but it was really, really hard to have hope when they haven't found your buddy in the last 2 days. And, but there's still a little bit of hope there, like maybe, he's not gone, and maybe, he's okay. But my reaction was just, I was with my buddy Brooks, and I broke down. I mean, I haven't experienced death a lot, but especially with someone I'm as close with as
you literally said it happens all the time. Everyone dies. You just said it.
Nolan. And I mean, I broke down, and I sat there on my buddy Brooks' shoulder, and I cried. And on my buddies, because I care about my buddies too. I mean, like, we're all experienced this. Like, we all realized at the same time. We all heard the news at the same time. Like, he's gone. And so it was really, really hard on me. I mean, I've never experienced something like this, and it was traumatic. I mean, I could tell you where and when I was there, when I got that phone call, where I was. And I just remember, like, it was insane. Like, I can't even put into words how upset I was, and how upset my friends were. So.
And then comes the stories and the craziness. I mean, you guys are now hearing that you're responsible for it. You did it. You killed Nolan. So what was the next step? Did you guys ever engage with police or?
Yeah. So the first time I talked to the police was July 7th. I talked to the lead investigator, and I told him my whole story, top to bottom, dotted every I, crossed every T. I told him everything I knew, every little detail. I mean, everything I could,
Thanks to everyone in chat with common sense and discernment. Not everyone has discernment. Shout out to you guys who have this discernment. You're special.
Tell them to try to figure something out, you know.
Were you the only one to talk to the cops, or
No, of
did
course
some of the
not.
other guys do?
You know, every person that was included, especially, you know, the guys that you see on social media, everybody cooperated with the police fully. You know, Nolan was with us on the way out.
That's not true. You guys lawyered up. You guys lawyered up. And you didn't speak to the Nolan's family. You didn't tell them anything. Nope. You guys lawyered up. And deleted your social media. There's a list. I can go on and on about all of these behaviors and suspicious activities from these boys. I can go on and on and on. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to end this.
And he rode out on the boats with us. So, I mean, we were the first people to get questioned. I mean, we cooperated with the police the first time they called us. And, you know, we talked to them, you know, as soon as they needed, and we were fully cooperative.
And we see Benjamin Crump coming to town, made it about race.
Right.
What's your feeling about that?
Shout out to Ben, is his name Benjamin? I don't know. Ben Crump. Shout out to him, because if it had not been for Ben Crump, yes, this case would have been open, shut, accidental drowning immediately. Remember, the same day that the sheriff found the body, he immediately ruled out foul play. The same day his body was found. If you don't believe me, go watch the press conference, the last press conference where Ben Crump was explaining Nolan's autopsy report. The mom says it. She says, that didn't sit right with me. No. See, that didn't sit right with me right there. You immediately ruled out foul play on the same day without an actual investigation. No way in hell. So shout out to Ben Crump.
Do you think that any of this has anything to do with race? Or, because, I mean, obviously something happened to Nolan. It appears that you guys may not have been involved at all. When I say may not, it's no evidence that you were involved at all. Right. You guys had left. Right. But do you think that there's a racial component to any of this?
Of course not. I mean, I think if Nolan ever felt the most little bit uncomfortable around us, which we never gave him a reason to, but if he did, he wouldn't hang out around us. But if you go look on, you know, like my friends have had Nolan posted all over our social medias, you know, since freshman year.
Well, you guys all deleted your social media, so kind of hard to look at that, isn't it? If you guys deleted your social media immediately after, right? And let's talk about Nolan's deleted messages too. Who went into his phone? Because that's a felony. And we can talk about the maritime laws too. There could be charges because maritime law is real. There could be charges. Someone was responsible to bring back Nolan back to safety on that day.
High school, like, if Nolan ever felt uncomfortable with us, why would he be hanging out with us all the time? I mean, every day we're back from college, we hang out and we're around each other all the time. So absolutely not. I would never look at Nolan any other way than I would any of my other friends. I mean, he was like a brother to me.
You guys had been interviewed by law enforcement. Mm-hmm. All of you guys have given statements. But then I think that there's a part associated with this that's being rumored out in the public, and that is the situation with the cell phone, potential deletion of messages. When did that occur, and what happened there?
Part 4. Wow. I wonder how much this guy got paid for this. Wow. You guys, I'm so sorry that the audio was a little low today. I will come back with, I had so much to do today. But my audio is low. I want the next episode to be perfect. I will fix my audio, but we need to talk about some things. We need to talk about the United Cajun Navy interviews. I am hearing discrepancies in some reporting from the United Cajun Navy that is alarming. There are photos out there. There's photos out there of Nolan. Someone had his photos, okay? Why did the United Cajun Navy take photos of Nolan? We learned all this in Nancy Grace's interview to the United Cajun Navy. Okay, his name is Brian Thrasher. Brian Thrasher. He had phones, he had pictures of Nolan. Pictures of Nolan. Who does that? Who does that? They didn't give it to the family either. Okay? We also need to talk about the phone, the keys. How about Nolan? How about Nolan's shoes? Was Nolan barefoot? Did Nolan have? Where's his shoes? Where's the rest of his clothing? Did all of that come out? All right. We need to talk about the boat's GPS. What else we need to talk about? Oh, we still need to go over the autopsy report, the preliminary report, the actual written report, not the conference. The written report. We need to read it for ourselves. All right, so stay tuned to all of this. We're going to break this down. We're going to break this down. This is crazy. Shout out to everyone that was here. And justice for Nolan. Justice for Nolan. Justice for Nolan.